Now, again, joining us as we take all of this in, really gleaning a lot from these jury members, criminal defense attorney Esther Panitch. She covered this so closely with us. Esther, what did you think of Jodi Arias' believability as the trial was going on? There you heard Tara basically say, not believable at all. Did you think, well, maybe there's somebody on that jury believing just enough?
I thought that there might be one person on that jury who could not give her the death penalty. I thought that she would be convicted. I don't know that anyone believed the self-defense, and even in their closing arguments, the defense seemed to have abandoned the self-defense argument, making more of a manslaughter argument. So, you know, the more she talked, the more lies came out of her mouth. That's how you know Jodi's lying. Her lips are moving. So her believability was weak to begin with, and then after 18 days on the stand, when Juan Martinez caught her in multiple lies, it was nil by the time she got off the stand. So, you know, I think the reason we're here today with a hung jury on sentencing is in spite of Jodi, not because of Jodi, that there were just some jurors who could not give her the ultimate punishment.
Okay. Esther Panitch is with us, criminal defense attorney. Esther, we wondered again, did she connect with the jury or not? Now we're hearing about stare downs. That surprise you?
Nothing surprises me about Jodi Arias. She's crazy. This is all with my training and experience and 18 years of practicing law. She's nuts. Not nuts like, you know, everybody has somebody in their family that might be a little off. She is evil nuts. The worst way to make nice to a jury is to stare them down. I mean, I don't know what she was thinking. Clearly, she was not listening to anything her lawyers would tell her. And, you know, it's all about her. She's a raging narcissist. Everything Jodi talks about has to do with Jodi. It's all about her all the time. She always has to be the center of attention.
Absolutely.
So I'm not surprised that she did that, although only because nothing surprises me about her anymore. But it is surprising that any defendant would try to stare down the person responsible.
You're going to intimidate the jury?
That's right.
Unbelievable. Listen to that. Esther Panitch back with his criminal defense attorney. Some of those past interrogation tapes, also interrogation footage of mom and dad. And if you look at those, you know, I thought if you brought that message from Sandra Arias into the courtroom, that might have been one of Jodi Arias' best bets to say, she's a sick girl. We didn't get my daughter the help she needed. Esther, your thoughts on all that?
I would agree with you, except that these are the jurors who voted for death, and if they, or who would have voted for death. So if they were trying to convince the people who were looking at, the jurors who are looking at life, and that the mental illness, they're saying the mental illness would have helped push the lifers to the death penalty. I would have seen it the opposite. But of course, I was not on the jury. I would have thought that it would be a mitigator. If Jodi was really mentally ill, then why would you kill her for something that she maybe couldn't control herself? So I had a different take on that. The stalking evidence was very interesting. That certainly goes to premeditation. That certainly goes to somebody with a criminal history, even if she had not been convicted of anything. So you know, there are reasons it didn't come in the guilt phase. I'm not sure why it didn't come in the penalty phase, because that's a different standard for admissibility. But, you know, it is interesting. It's always interesting to hear what the jurors think, because, you know, sometimes they come up with things that we don't consider ourselves.
So again, Ron, the second caller we've had, Esther, he said just that we're not finished yet. We could be heading back very well to Phoenix with another jury and another round of the penalty phase.
Yes. I mean, of course, in this case, the jury did speak because it didn't have a unanimous verdict, but right now the default is life. So in that way, they kind of spoke. And of course, if the next jury is hung too.